What's up, everybody? Chris Flick here, Chris Flick Podcast, episode number 130. Today's episode is going to be called Dad Talk. Why? Because I'm a dad, and I talk to dads a lot, and we talk about what's going on in your life, right? How are we managing raising a child to the best of our ability, working, managing the relationship with your significant other, and all the other stuff that comes along in life. Now, the first topic I'm going to talk about, and I brought this up many times, going to work's a piece of cake, man. Going to work is easy. We had a period of time where our daughter was sick for like 6 to 8 months, not feeling well. Her body's in this inflammatory state, periodic fevers, bleeding out of areas that I don't even want to discuss, okay? Not sleeping well, and here I am getting up at 5, leaving for work at 5:30 every day, right? So not only is Marisa snuggling Emmy through the night to make her feel better, she's then waking up, taking care of her. There's the nursing. There was all this other stuff that was going on associated with it. What was I doing? Listening to hip hop or, training people or working out at the gym. Out of sight, out of mind almost for me. And because of that, I would come home and Marisa would want an immediate break. And then I'd be coming home from work and I'd be like, I need to decompress. But there's no time for that because Marisa's like maxed out. I was not around. I need to come home and be a parent, right? So it took a little bit of adjustment to kind of figure out what that balance was. And that led to a lot of animosity, a lot of maybe hostility that needed to be communicated between Marisa and I. And we eventually did that. But anyhow, work is easy, okay? As a parent, as a father here, just remember that. Everything that happens throughout the course of a day, think about the amount of time that you spend with your kid and just understand that maybe when it's home time, when it's time to be home, you need to be home. You need to be present. You don't want to let that baggage from work come home and kind of affect the way that you treat your child. I had a moment of that this week where I don't know if it's on week 6 of these youth camps and I'm just kind of brains fried, but just been really busy this summer. A lot of youth camps. Stressed out because you're like 7 to 10-year-olds. You're trying to keep them moving. Emmy comes out all the time and hangs out with me. I started to lose patience with her when she was just being a 4-year-old. Not being understanding of certain situations just because of all of this other stuff that was going on. And then I was expressing that frustration or whatever I had going on out on my 4-year-old daughter, which was a bad move. And I did hurt her feelings at one point. And I know that because she made a point to tell me today that she had an accident, basically, and I got frustrated with it. And then this morning she woke up, went to the bathroom, was like, "Daddy, I didn't have an accident. I got to the bathroom in time." The first accident was that she wanted somebody to come with her, and we were like, you could go to the bathroom. She didn't make it to the toilet on time, right? So the next morning she makes a point to let me know that she made it on time and was proud of herself. And I told her, I thanked her and all that other stuff, right? And that made me realize that what I said to her yesterday had this lingering effect because she was still thinking about it today. So I hurt my little girl's feelings. Hopefully she keeps that in mind, maybe. The next time that she has to go to the bathroom and she understands that she could go by herself, she doesn't need somebody with her all the time. And I need to understand that anything that I say, anything that I do, I may forget it, she might not. All right, so you got to be mindful of what you say to your kids, right? The next part of this is you got to be careful what you value. If you work your butt off, if you came from poverty, say, and you work your butt off, and now you're an adult, and you're making a good amount of money, and you have a good living based off of all that hard work you put in, right? And you want to enjoy yourself, right? You want to go out, you want to get a boat, you want to get a fancy car, you want to get multiple fancy cars, you want to start collecting whatever you want to collect. You want to start spending money on expensive dinners. You want to get drunk every weekend and party and have fun and laugh, right? That's fine. But if those are the things that you value, there's a good chance your kid's going to value that same stuff, right? And if they value that stuff, they're not going to value that hard work that you put in. They never saw that hard work because you will put in all that time and all that work. You went through all those struggles before that kid was even born, right? So your kid has no idea that that's what you went through. All they see is you partying and having fun with cars and boats and, doing fancy steak dinners and whatever, right? That's all they know of you. They don't know that past life of you, right? And you can tell them about it all you want. You can tell them about hard work, but it's going to be in one ear and out the other, right? They're going to base their decisions off of what they see. They're going to see you living in a certain way, and they're going to see that, and they're going to potentially replicate that. Now, that being said, there is that story of like, the two kids that are the parent or the son, they are the sons, say, they're twins, we'll go with, of an alcoholic father. One of them becomes an alcoholic because their father's one, right? They follow his path. The other one sees their father being an alcoholic and they never drink because their dad's an alcoholic. Both of their behaviors are based off, are because their dad's an alcoholic, but they just chose to go in two separate directions, right? So we always have that ability, but we want to kind of increase our chances of our kid going in that non-alcoholic route, right, by the actions that we take. So be careful what you value. In addition to that, all that hard work that your kid never saw you do, if you're living a lavish lifestyle, it's going to be hard to replicate that in your child. And I'm reminded of the Kenyan marathon runner who was once asked, hey, is your kid's going to follow in your footsteps? And he said no. And they were like, why? He said, because they didn't have to run to school every day. This Olympic champ, he ran everywhere growing up. Running became how he got places. The son of an Olympic champ or the daughter of an Olympic champ, they don't have to. They get driven to school. They get fancy meals. They don't have to run for dinner. They don't have to run 3 miles to school and 3 miles back every day, right? They didn't have to do that. So they didn't get that grind. They didn't have to put in that work that adult put in, right? It's hard to replicate that, So as a parent now, we have to keep these things in mind. Work's an easy thing, right, for us dads. Going to work's fine, but when we come home, we got to be there, all right? And we can't bring any of that baggage from work home. Number 2, be careful what you value, because they're going to see it. You can't just say, do as I say, not as I do. It's the other way around. You have to be mindful of what you do, because that's what they see. You can tell them whatever you want, all right? You could say, I did this, that, and the other thing. They're not going to care. You could tell them you walked to school uphill both ways in a freaking blizzard, and guess what? They're still going to want to be driven to school, all right? The last part of it, that hardship can't be replicated, right? So you got to understand that if you want to instill hard work in them, you're going to have to show them hard work. They're going to see how you respond to certain things, all right? And there's that fourth part, actually, that was kind of in charge of part 1. Not in charge, a part of part 1. Everything that you say, I learned this as a coach. I'll tell kids 100 things a week, say. I might have said one bad thing to a kid, but that one kid's going to remember that. I might not remember that as a coach. I might not remember that I told that kid to do something and to quit being this or quit being that or whatever it may be. They're going to remember that. I might not. Same with a kid, your child. You might say something to them when you're frustrated, when you're lacking patience, and you might totally forget it by the end of that day. But your young kid won't, and they're probably going to remind you of it at some point in time. Be mindful what you say. It's going to come back, okay? Be patient, be present, and be there as much as possible. Peace, everybody.